Welcome back. The ancient ruins of Tel Arad in Israel's Negev desert cover much of the Old Testament story, from the time when the Israelites entered the Promised Land up until it was destroyed by the Babylonian forces of King Nebuchadnezzar. Tel Arad was a major city and fortress. Our good friend, renowned Israeli archaeologist and tour guide Danny the Digger Herman took us there recently for an incredible walk through the pages of the Old Testament. Take a look.
40 years of sojourning through the desert are about to be complete. The Promised Land is finally at reach. And yet as the Israelites advance, yearning to enter and dwell and settle the Promised Land, this site of Tel Arad will become an obstacle they could not overcome. These walls that are still visible to this day, thousands of years ago stood much higher and were part of a massive city of the Canaanites. The book of Numbers in chapter 21 tells us, when the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israel was coming along the road of Atarim, he attacked the Israelites and captured some of them. Then Israel made this vow to the Lord: if you will deliver these people into our hands, we will totally destroy their cities. The Lord listened to Israel's plea and gave the Canaanites over to them. Supposedly, this battle ended with a clear Israelite victory. However, the next sentence tells us of the Israelites making kind of a big U-turn, returning to the desert, crossing the Red Sea, and finally entering the Promised Land against Jericho. Tel Arad plays a major role as an archaeological site validating biblical narratives from both the time of the Exodus and the Israelite kingdom. An Israeli expedition led by Professor Ruth Amiran has excavated the lower part of Arad for over 20 years, uncovering one of the best examples for urban planning from Canaanite times. But the upper city of Arad proved to be rebuilt in the following period by the Israelites, when a set of fortresses were created to protect the Judean kingdom against its neighboring Edomites and Moabites. And the last fortress proved to bear documents, letters sent to the commander, Eliashiv, warning him against those enemies. These remarkable remains of the Israelite fortress of Arad were uncovered by another reputed Israeli archaeologist, Professor Yohanan Aharoni. In its southern wing, he found what may have been the headquarters of the fortress, where he uncovered documents, inscribed pottery shards with instructions to the local commander, whose name was Eliashiv. Some were still readable, and they contained orders to supply troops in the area, and one of the letters was warning him of the advancing Edomites. What a dramatic discovery relating to the last stages of the Judean kingdom before the Babylonian destruction, before the conquest of Jerusalem and the exile of the Jews. But Yadin made another sensational discovery on the other side of this fortress in its northern western wing, a temple. A temple? Shouldn't there be only one temple in Jerusalem? Let's take a closer look. This is amazing. This elevated slab of stone is believed to be the place where the animals were slaughtered before sacrifice. Everything in front of the Holy of Holies of this building, where two altars are in the shrine where a standing stone can still be seen. This was all a Judean worship center. How could that have been? Well, according to Aharoni, until the reform of Hezekiah, indeed, the Israelites were sometimes worshiping other gods. Just read Isaiah and Jeremiah. They constantly speak against the worship of Baal and Asherah, and domestic local shrines were found also even in Jerusalem. But Hezekiah the king and later Josiah demolished all of these high places and broke down the pillars, and this shrine too went out of use. The site of Arad and its discoveries present truly dramatic finds that illustrate the biblical narrative, and from what a wide range of time, from the book of Numbers to the book of Chronicles. This is a must visit for anyone coming to Israel.
thanks again to Watchman contributor Danny the Digger Herman for that amazing tour of Tel Arad. You can schedule an Israel tour with Danny by visiting his website, which you see there on your screen. Well, coming up after the break, my final thoughts on what all of these archaeological discoveries mean for Israel and for you. It's the Watchman. It's Christians united for Israel, only right here on TBN.